Dear third grade students, welcome to our fourth recorded lecture for the course entitled Computer Applications in Management and Economics. I very much hope that you are all safe and healthy. The current presentation continues covering Chapter 4 in your textbook. The main focus of the chapter is the visual analysis of quantitative data under three structures that we have discussed in the first chapter. They are cross-sectional data, time series data, and balanced panel data. Visual presentation of data is an important method of summarizing its main features. It is not interesting for anyone to read hundreds or maybe thousands of observations included in the original dataset. Hence, the chapter uses line graph, bar chart, and histogram to summarize economic data. Chapter 4 has two main sections. The first section uses the line graph, histogram, and bar charts to summarize the main features of some datasets. These datasets include cross-sectional data, time series data, and balanced panel data. The second section shows the steps required to create line graphs, bar charts, and histograms using eViews. In the previous lecture, we covered the first 2 points of section 1, which are shown here in the current slide. Hence, the current lecture is devoted to cover the rest of the first section in addition to the second section. The multiple line graph could be employed to compare the evolution of multiple time series. These time series may be for the same variable in different countries or for different variables in the same country over a specified period. For the first case, we are dealing with panel datasets. In the second case, we are dealing with time series datasets. Let's consider two examples for these two cases. Kindly refer to the screenshot 4.5. This screenshot illustrates the multiple time series graph for unemployment rates in 3 countries during the period 1980 to 1999. From this graph, we can easily identify that unemployment rates in the 3 countries were subject to cyclic components. Furthermore, it is easy to recognize that the United States of America has experienced the lowest unemployment rates during the whole period, whereas the United Kingdom experienced the highest level of unemployment during the first half of the period under consideration. Such conclusions couldn't be easily drawn using tables, however, graphing eases drawing these conclusions. Refer to the screenshot 4.6. It depicts the evolution of 4 time series for the United States of America over the period extends from the first quarter of the year 1952 and ends at the fourth quarter of the year 1996. Thus, this sample includes 180 data points. These series are real GDP, narrow money supply, price level, and interest rate. In this multiple line graph, values of each variable are represented by the vertical axis, whereas the time is represented by the horizontal axis. From this graph, it is very easy for us to detect that the real GDP, the price level, and the narrow money supply have upward trends during the study period. whereas the interest rate fluctuates, reaching a peak on the second quarter of the year 1982. Multiple bar charts could be used to compare values of the same variable at a specific point of time for different units, such as countries, companies, and so on. For example, it may be interesting to compare the hourly wage in three developed countries in 2 different years. Let's do this now using screenshots 4.7a and 4.7b, which show two bar charts for the average hourly wage in the United States of America, Canada, and the UK in 1980 and 1999, respectively. By comparing these two bar charts, we could draw the following conclusions. First, the average hourly wage has been considerably increased in the three countries between 1980 and 1999. Second, Canadians experienced the smallest wage increase among the three countries. Third, Americans received the largest wage per hour in 1980 and 1999. Let's start by showing how to create a single line graph for a single time series variable, that is the monthly exchange rate of the UK pound against the US dollar, shown by the screenshot 4.1. To graph this variable, double-click on that series to open it. From the series title bar shown by the screenshot 4.8, select View, then Graph, to bring up the Graph option dialog box for a single series that is depicted in the screenshot 4.9. In this Graph option dialog box, there are three sections. The first section is under the title option Pages. The second section has the title Graph Type. The third section has the title Details. Under the first section, pick Basic Type Page. Under the second section, select Basic Graph from the general category and select Line and Symbol from the specific category. For the third section, keep the settings as specified by default options. Finally, hit the OK button. Once you do so, the graph shown in the screenshot 4.1 appears. In the same manner, the multiple time series graph tracking the evolution of the US quarterly data on real GDP, price level, narrow money supply, and interest rate depicted in the screenshot 4.6 can be created by double-clicking on the group containing this series. Then you follow the same steps shown in the previous slide. However, there is only one difference. Under the Details section, a button named Multiple Series appears. This button has a drop-down menu as shown in the screenshot 4.12. Select the Multiple Graph option, but keep other default settings. Finally, press the OK button. Similarly, the multiple time series graph for the unemployment rates in the United States of America, Canada, and the UK during the aforementioned period that is depicted in the screenshot 4.5 can be created. First, and as before, double-click on the series under consideration. Then follow the same steps shown in the previous two slides. However, the graph option dialog box for panel data is slightly different as depicted in the screenshot 4.14. The main difference is in the Details section. Under the Details section, we use the same options as we have just done for the single series and multiple series in the points we discussed in the previous two slides. But in the current case, we select the combined cross sections option from the drop-down menu shown in the screenshot 4.14. Then we hit the OK button. When we press this OK button, the graph shown in the screenshot 4.5 appears. Now we show the steps required to present the histogram of the variable named GDPPC that is displayed in the screenshot 4.3. To plot this histogram using views, double-click on that series to open it. Then use the View menu as before to bring up the Graph option dialog box for a single series depicted in the screenshot 4.9. Under the second section that has the title Graph Type, select Basic Graph from the General category. Then choose Distribution from the specific category. As you select distribution, the details section it changes and the distribution options appear as displayed in the right hand side of the dialog box with the screenshot 4.15. From the drop down menu, select histogram, which is the default. Then hit the OK button. By doing so, the histogram shown in the screenshot 4.3 appears. Now, let's describe the steps required to graph the two bar charts displayed in the screenshots 4.7a and 4.7b. These bar charts compare hourly compensations in 1980 and 1999 for the USA, Canada, and the UK. To plot the first bar chart, double-click on that series to open it. From the series title bar, select Sample, and thus you will be introduced to the sample dialog box shown in the screenshot 4.16. In this dialog box, you have to type the following statement. This statement is shown here. It helps the software to select only one year, that is the year of our concern, 1980. Then hit the OK button. From the View button of this series, select Graph to bring up the Graph Options dialog box that is depicted in the screenshot 4.17. Then we use the usual Graph Option dialog box with its three sections mentioned before. Select Basic Graph from the General category under the Graph Type section. From the specific category, choose bar as shown in the screenshot 4.17. Under the panel options in the Details section, select Stack Cross Sections. Finally, hit the OK button to display the bar chart shown in the screenshot 4.7a. Now you have to repeat these steps in order to graph the second bar chart shown by the screenshot 4.7b. By covering this point, we reach to the end of our lecture today. Thank you so much.